We're down here in Queenstown, South Island, New Zealand, Aotearoa, and we're going to be doing a bikepacking mission around the Baka Area, which is at the end of Lake Wakatipu. Basically be hammering quite a few gravel roads, which would be really rad. Camping overnight, probably above freezing level, so it's probably going to snow. And just really trying to get into some back roads that we haven't been able to see while we've been locked in front of a computer. And we're just going to build up the bikes, make sure that they're all rideable, chuck on some new Panaracer tyres. The terrain is going to be technical, it's going to be quite rough. There's going to be gravel, there's going to be track, there's also going to be tarmac sealed roads. We've got a Surly Midnight Special, and then I'm running a Santa Cruz Stigmata. It takes 650B wheels with up to 2.1 tyre clearance. So for this mission, we're going to be running the Gravel King, which comes from the Gravel King family from Panaracer. Gravel King SK, which stands for semi-knob. And the 650s come in a size of ranges all the way up to 53. They've got a brown wall and they've also got black. They've also got different colour options, so check out their website for those. They're limited edition though. This semi-knob has a side knob here on the side, which is meant to tackle the harder terrain, and a more flatter knob pattern across the middle, which is going to be a bit faster rolling. I'll be running the tubeless setup, and Bobby running a tube setup. Bobby, being his demographic, likes the tubes. Tubes are a little bit heavier, however you can change them up faster if there's any issues. Tubeless are a little bit lighter, however if there are issues, potentially you need to have a tubeless plugger or another tyre just in case, or some tubeless sealant. The tube setup is a lot easier to change in and out with tyres, and I think it's a lot easier for someone to get their head around that. These are tubeless ready, but you can run tubes in them as well. So whatever you do, if you're doing a bikepacking mission or a gravel mission that's remote, you need to be ensuring, one is you got a tubeless puncture repairer, and two is you take a couple of tubes as well, because it could always go wrong. And 9 times out of 10 it does. But that's kind of part of the adventure. Tomorrow night we're going to go to the backside of those mountains and camp out there, so it's going to be pretty cold, so we've got to make sure we get enough food in the system. And we look forward to what's going to come. Sometimes you don't know always what's going to come out in the field, but that's kind of part of the adventure. So we're pretty excited after being sort of locked down since May to come out and do this trip, so we can't wait. You can feel the breeze, eh? Just steamboated up from Queenstown up to Walter Peak, and we've got about a 50k ride over to Marora Lakes. Probably get into camp around about 5:36, so we're going to be just on the touch of darkness, but should be all the ingredients for an epic adventure. We're about to pass the saddle going into Marora Lakes. Probably going about 30k an hour. It's a hard slog. Winds sort of coming crosshead. And yeah, the temp's starting to drop. I think we're down about 2 degrees. Just climb up the saddle and probably get to the snow line and see how we go from there.
It's a grind, but it's well worth it.
Scenery's just incredible. Can't believe this is just on a back doorstep, backyard. Maybe an hour 50 flight down, and then maybe a boat transfer, and we're in an epic part of wilderness that sort of feels more like the moon and sort of foreign landscapes. It's definitely been cold. We've got over the last climb, which is averaging about 8%, super tough, and it's now -3, -4, and the cold's really getting in your hands. But you look back at that, and Bobby and I just rode through that, and it's why you all do it, We can be sitting at home next week on a, Tuesday? On a Tuesday night watching something on Netflix, or you could be out here watching this as the TV, and I know where I'd rather be.
The hands started to get cold, just the fingers, but super worth it. I mean, honestly, like Liam says, you feel like you really are somewhere not in New Zealand. There's no sound of the sea. there's maybe a sound of a river, but you're remote. You're really remote.
We got into Mavora Lakes. It's actually where they filmed Lord of the Rings. So a pretty incredible place. Gets dark about 5:30. Tomorrow we've got another great day of 70, 80k, and we're staying at a hotel tomorrow night. So, you know, one night out in the field's not too bad. 3 hours ago we was out there riding through the snow, and now we're sort of in front of the campfire having a beer. So, you know, whatever pain you're going through, sore hands, Bobby had some really sore hands today and struggled to get food down him. All those little elements sort of go away once you get back to the campfire and get a good night's sleep, and then you wake up and think about the next task.
Yeah, tyres were deluxe. They just rolled really easy, and there was a fair bit of weight on the bikes yesterday. So that's really always a good test of side casings. I was running 38 in the front and 45 in the rear, and I never got rattled all day yesterday and had a really good grip.
Very supple across the rougher terrain, and they felt very zippy when you sort of want to push down on the crank, and they just really held grip in some of the really tougher corners. Overall they've just got a really nice rolling speed, and I was running them around 20 to 25 psi for the 53, and they just felt super supple. So looking forward to getting back on them today and seeing how they go. Hooked up on the cycle trails, sort of meandered around the back of the farmland, some wetlands and stuff. It's pretty fun.
It's a tricky thing when you've got quite deep gravel, so the tyre's probably dropping in 20 millimeters, so you're always under traction, putting in power, but they never slipped. They just carried on and carved around the corners. Darkening now, I think more of a variable.
Pulled into Lumsden, gonna get a brew or two, and then check into our digs and sleep in a bed and maybe even have a shower. Not sure. See how we go. Overall, we've been super impressed with the Panaracer Gravel King SK. Really supple, really plush, and great sort of cornering and handling. Rolling resistance was awesome. That would definitely be staying on my bike now.
We did have a gem of information from one of the road guys, the road worker guys, who said that the roads that we've been riding on, especially around Mavora Lakes, were put down with chip that had gone through a crusher that were quite sharp, and that had 40 punches in cars that they were aware of. So we haven't had one single issue. So that is testament to how strong the tyre is, as well as being supple. It's a hell of a mix. They give you a lot of confidence to ride, and yeah, I'd totally recommend them. They're a great tyre.